Today I planned on taking the boys up to the gallop track, so we warmed up in the arena. Aries was a bit edgy because the vet was in the green barn by the edge of the arena doing a dental on a horse. The noise of the drill made Aries rather jittery. I tried to keep him occupied so that he didn't have much time to worry about the drill. We practiced turns and changing sides and keeping good position between each other. Picasso and Aries are getting much better in sync while moving. Aries has a longer stride, so he ends up traveling a bit slower than is probably most comfortable for him. But I try to get Picasso to step it up every now and then, so that they both get some good trotting in. After finishing our warm-up in the arena, we trekked up to the gallop track. After some gentle trotting around, I eased the boys into a bigger trot, going up the shallow hill away from the gate. Picasso broke into a canter first, and all three of us gently cantered along the track. It was really nice. Although you can't see it very well, Aries was definitely enjoying himself. Now here's where I have the harebrained idea to canter back along the track towards the gate. Midway along the track, Aries and Picasso got excited, and Picasso began to buck. Aries pulled off to the side, and Picasso continued bucking, and I decided to bail. Could I have stayed on? Yes. Should I have? Probably. I wanted to choose my landing. That's my only excuse here. But after the boys had a good old run around the field, I caught them near the top of the hill and brought them back down. We needed to have at least one more successful run, literally. So we eased back up the track and cantered along the upper edge, quite uneventfully. I had had enough of tempting fate for one day, and both horses were tired from their extended self-exercise. Today was a movement and saddle pad kind of day. I try to do different things with Aries each time I see him. Keeps him from getting bored, plus there are lots of things we are working on all at once. Whatever I'm doing seems to be working. I have noticed Aries' left side is catching up with his right side as far as relaxing and opening up in movement. I have to remember all the little things I have to integrate. Belly lifts, for one. Aries does them, but he isn't really flexible that way. Something in his back and maybe his shoulders is still tight, so he isn't doing a very pronounced belly lift. I just have to keep doing them, asking for slightly longer intervals and watch how he reacts. As I mentioned last week, experimentation is important. You may go down the wrong path several times before finding the right one. But as long as you listen to your horse and watch his responses, you will end up just fine in the end. This is something I have struggled with. I question myself a lot. Am I doing the right thing? Am I hurting him? I have to remember, he will tell me, and his voice is the only one that matters. His movement to the left is evening out with the right. He is still much more open and free to the right, but the fact that the left side is improving at all tells me that whatever I am doing is working. Look at that nice, open, stretchy movement. I am working on the theory that Aries' right hind leg is bothering him. Something is contracted on that side. So when I lunge him to the left, I use the exercise Miranda had me doing, bending him in and then sending him forward. After each repetition, he tends to lower his head and travel more balanced for a few strides. He's offering feedback. So we're going to keep going with this strategy. I wanted to use the bamboo pole to influence one hind leg at a time, so I tied Aries' tail up and out of the way. I started by tapping the inside hind leg as it left the ground, asking for a deeper reach. You only ask for this for a few strides at a time, especially when learning they can only hold a new position for a short time. I'd say the results I got were pretty good. Next, I tapped the outside hind leg. I really wasn't sure what effect this would have. In my head, I hoped it would cause his outside leg to step further forward, as it does with the inside hind leg. If that is the contracted side, I hope tapping that leg will help stretch it out a little bit. I haven't done any ground driving with Aries in a while, so I thought, why not? Ground driving is a good skill to have, but for Aries, it mostly works on his fear of having things behind him. You can see he's pretty suspicious, and he isn't quite sure he's ready to have me travel from eye to eye behind him. This just tells me that we need to do a lot more of this. A pattern I have noticed recently is Aries' choice to move forward now as a solution instead of going backwards. When he is confused or unsure, he picks forward as an option more frequently now than he used to. Hello, progress. This is a great step for him. Next, the bareback pad. I have only worked with him once with the bareback pad since Miranda's lesson. Can you see the difference? He quickly got bored. And when he does move, his movement is calm, not jerky. He still isn't totally unbothered by the pad, but rather than balling it all up, when he feels the need to, he moves away. But in looking at all the signs, his lips are relaxed, his eyes are half shut, he isn't nearly as bothered as he was a week ago. The only time he makes a really decided movement away is when I pull the cinch across his belly. So, we did it a lot. As long as he walks and vents his tension, I am happy. Occasionally I would ask him to keep going, but in general, if he moved, I moved. If he stopped, I stopped. The newest behavior of note was Aries lowered his head to the ground several times as we walked around. Nice and relaxed. Towards the end, I was trying to come up with new ways to interact with the pad. Life happens, folks. Sometimes pads fall off. We trip and stumble. Birds come flying out of the rafters of a barn. It's my job to teach Aries to handle these freaky little accidents, to prepare him for a life with humans.